I'm Rowdy. Thank you for watching. This is Rowdy Rants. I'm making a video today I've tried to make several times. It's a video about abortion. But I've had a problem with the ones I've made. I didn't like the way they came out. They seemed too static. It seemed like too much of a repetition of what other people have had to say. And I know that's not what I'm like. So I decided to do it a little differently. You can be the judge. Abortion is a complex subject only so long as you allow it to be. Okay? My personal views on abortion have been shaped quite a bit over the years. In a lot of ways, they were shaped by my wife. And that shaping started when we first met. What can I say? It was a heavy influence on it. She let me know real quick, early on, we're talking like first date, she started asking some personal questions about how I felt about certain things. And one of those questions was abortion. And I told her I'm not comfortable with the thought of anyone having an abortion. I understand that there are some reasons for it, but I'm not comfortable with any of them. It's not an opinion, that's my own feelings. I didn't really have a lot of opinion other than that. And she was very forthcoming. She's like, well, look, I don't believe in abortion. And if I look at a man naked, I get pregnant. Now, you got to understand, we had not had any experience with one another beyond talk and, you know, kidding around and dinner at a restaurant. And she has kids. She had kids at the time already. I was single, of course. And a lot of the questioning surrounded my preferences in a relationship or sexually. And when she dropped the bomb about abortion, I told her, well, I really don't have problems with that. And little did I realize how much that was going to settle my views in the future. Because I kind of went on a little mini rant at the time. And what I'm talking about is where you see these women yelling, "My uterus, my choice." And my issue with that has always been, I agree, it's yours. It's your body, and you should have 100% control over it. Okay? But that's what you say when you're talking to an adult. Now, when you're talking with somebody who is too irresponsible to take control of that part of their body and that part of their life, and to use adequate birth control, and to plan things ahead, that's a different situation. Now, I'm going to piss off a lot of people, I'm sure of it. And that's okay. You're entitled to be pissed off. I'm more than happy to continue discussing this in any format. But I'm telling the truth. Okay, it's a bad time for me to be pregnant. It's a bad time to have a baby. It's not the right person. All these are excuses. And if any of these is true, you should have been making sure that you were using adequate birth control. And don't say that you can't use birth control, because there are dozens of methods of birth control. And most of it's free for anyone that needs it to be free. So this whole thing, when you start hearing people squawking about, you know, my uterus, my choice. Yeah, your uterus, your choice. 100%. You're right. My main question is if it's yours and you're in control, why do we have so many abortions? you're not under control. I'm sorry, not you. Your uterus is not under control. You're not exercising that control. You're being irresponsible. You're not taking care of business. You don't like it? Tough luck. It's fact and it's the truth. If a woman is killed when she's pregnant, that's double murder or manslaughter or whatever, because two people were killed, the woman and the child inside her. And you're going to squawk about your body, your choice, and anybody that doesn't have a uterus shouldn't have a voice. However, you will not exercise the control necessary to prevent yourself becoming pregnant. These are not the balanced indicators of a person who is in control of anything. This is somebody who the inspiration of the moment overrules everything else. And it's wrong. It's dead wrong. Do I think that abortion law or Roe v. Wade or any of these other things should outlaw abortion or allow abortion? I think it's a state issue. And I think the biggest mistake ever made was for the federal government to get involved. As far as dictating a time, okay, it's okay to get an abortion after you're pregnant up until 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 10 weeks, 12 weeks. That's bullshit. You're already pregnant. But as far as having an abortion goes, I'm not going to exercise an opinion. I'm not going to state an opinion. At what point should it be okay to get an abortion? I don't think it should be okay. It's preventable. This is a completely preventable condition. And you failed to exercise control over your body, be it deliberate or through indiscretion, and now you want to kill another human being. That's wrong. It's just as wrong for somebody to exercise control over your body. I've got a beef with that. I don't like the idea of anybody forcing any kind of an issue like that. I don't like the idea of vaccine mandates. That is terrible. It's messed up. And I don't like the idea of it. I never will. It's my body. Nobody's going to order me to get a shot. Ever. So, yeah, I do. I really support a woman's authority over her own body when they exercise it. But when you are so indiscreet and so irresponsible as to not even consider using birth control and then get pregnant, I'm sorry, I don't think abortion should be an option. I really don't. Short of incest, rape, a threat to the mother's life, a completely unviable child. Basically, I'm talking about a child that's not going to live no matter what. A child that can't be delivered. Beyond that, I don't see how it can even be an issue. Stepping in a little further into it, though, I'm also kind of disgusted by science. Nowadays you hear a lot of stuff about follow the science, follow the science. Well, my problem with that is science stopped at the point of, well, we can prevent pregnancy if somebody wants to prevent it. However, they haven't pushed science forward enough that they can save an unwanted fetus or zygote or whatever. Because that is a developing human being in the womb. And just because it's inconvenient, someone comes along and scrapes it out with something no different than a spoon and snuffs life out. And you have people that are completely comfortable with the concept of abortion on demand all the way up until birth. That's sick. Now, none of this is to say that I let men off the hook, because I don't. Men, you're part of the equation. You're part of the couple who made a child. You knew that sex creates children. Whether she was honest with you and said, look, I could get pregnant, or she lied, it doesn't matter really. You knew that doing this could create a child. And you should not be running away from that responsibility. Part of being a man is stepping up to your responsibilities. And there is no greater responsibility than nurturing a child. What can you do? Okay, what can I do to prevent it? Well, for one, you cannot do it. But that probably works about as well with you as it did with me. That's men and women. They get an itch, they're going to scratch. Okay? With women, the things I'm getting ready to cite are a little more radical and understandably, not the first choice. With men, condoms have a high failure rate, although I do recommend them because of disease issues. Celibacy, people aren't going to follow that. They itch, they scratch. However, with men, vasectomy is very successful at preventing pregnancy. And vasectomies are reversible for the most part. I know. I do know. Now, I'm sure this sounds extreme, but we're talking about outpatient surgery, and it solves a lot of problems. It takes the issue out of the woman's hands about whether or not she can get pregnant. It takes the issue to a different level. If you're just there for the good times and would really rather not marry this person, you don't have to worry about whether or not she'll get pregnant. Even if you say you don't care, you don't have to worry about being chased to pay child support. It takes a lot of the worries away. So, the proof is out there that for the most part, as far as abortion goes, there's an awful lot of people out there that are very irresponsible when it comes to sex. Just as many women as men. Because guys get a bad rap for humping gravel in the driveway. Women would too. But guys, part of growing up is having the self-respect and respect outright not to create a child you can't support. I understand when you're 16, 15, a vasectomy is not an option. very complicated situation. And all I can say is my greatest wish would be that you are extremely lucky not to father a child, or you wait, or you practice some kind of birth control on your own. Wrap it twice, something. Don't be making a baby you can't support, because that's wrong. When you step back out of the picture and she chooses abortion, that's wrong. And I'm sure a lot of guys are going to pop up and say, dude, that's fucked up. You know, I mean, that's like I'm being saddled with 18, 20 years of child support. Yeah, that's right. But you were there. You did it. And better that you pay that 18, 20 years child support than somebody die. You know, even if that somebody is a baby that hasn't been born yet. Guys are supposed to be the ones who are responsible, which means you take care of business so that it doesn't become a problem later. Especially older men. Go get snipped, man. Go get snipped. You got to stop this stuff before it becomes a problem. Rowdy, you're all over the place with this. Yep, I sure am. And I'm proud of it. Because it's a complex problem. But the solution is actually fairly simple. It's not a perfect solution, but it's a workable solution. The simplest thing to do would be to go through the U.S. Supreme Court and vacate Roe v. Wade. Oh my God. No, not oh my God. You vacate Roe v. Wade, and what happens is the issue returns to the states, and each state decides how they're going to handle the topic of abortion. And that's the right way for this to be handled. Our government was set up for each state to function independently, because each state represents the voters in that state. So the voters in each individual state should control whether or not abortion is available and at what points. Which, if you stop to think about it, this makes much better sense than what we're dealing with right now. Because what we're dealing with right now is a dictatorial decision. And you have politicians that want to interpret and reinterpret and broaden the meanings and narrow the meanings, and it's a failure. It's a complete failure. Whereas you return the issue to the states in Democrat strongholds like California and New York, they're free to choose abortion at any length or limit they want. And the same goes for red states. They can completely ban abortion. They can limit abortion's availability. However, the voters decide. Because isn't that what all this is supposed to be about? This is supposed to be about the voters and the choices they want. And those choices have been taken away. What about a woman's access to health care? Or what? Well, they're calling abortion health care. So what about a woman's access to abortion? It would depend on the state you're in. And that's the way it should be. You know, well, that unfairly penalizes poor women. It's not a perfect solution. I never said it would be. And if it's that important of an issue, states that support abortion could offer to transport people to their state to have an abortion if that's what they wanted. There's nothing stopping that from happening once Roe v. Wade is off the books. That's it. That's pretty much all I've got to say about it. My biggest push, since I'm not a woman and I'm not going to pretend I understand everything about it, is I'm going to point at the men and say, be more responsible. Think about what can happen and do the right things ahead of time. Once you're at the age that you can go get a vasectomy, do it. If you don't want a child, if you don't want to start a family, and you still want to get out and do your thing with the women, go get snipped first. That ends all the worries. Straight up. If you don't, then you're just as irresponsible as anyone else. And I'm not going to point fingers any more than I already have. And, you know, in reality, what control do I have? Or what experience do I have beyond what I feel and think when it comes to women and the subject of abortion? I feel like it's irresponsible for a woman to get pregnant with so much option available for birth control. But like I also said, people get an itch, they're going to scratch. We need to change the equation to compensate for these things. And I believe that returning the issue to each individual state where the voters in that state decide is the most responsible solution of all. That's it. My name's Rowdy. That's my rant. You're welcome to comment below. Have a great day.